And the first thing is, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know, it's so exciting. So after, our time together in 8 weeks, well, 9 because we had the gap, you've lost 14.5 kilograms, 32 pounds, 32.5 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And we had a brief chat yesterday, but that's 87.5 centimeters.
Those are my kids. Like literally those are my kids.
And what did you say yesterday? That's 12.5 centimeters off a meter.
Yeah. I'm literally 11 or 12 centimeters short of a meter, which is
like crazy.
Never would have thought that ever.
No. So the purpose of today is to kind of show ladies that really the difference between, oh gosh, here we go, diet and I guess this program. What do you think of the word diet?
With my history, as you know, with my history of I started in dance and rhythmic gymnastics, diet was always like the punishment word. You go on a diet because you're too big, so then you're bad and you're fat and it's horrible and bad on you. So we're going to put you on a diet and we're going to shame you at the same time because we're going to put your name on the billboard so everyone has to know that she has to go to. So I had a lot of, I tried to avoid that word. I hated the word for a long time. And I still have a bit of a, but as I mentioned a little bit before, the thing that drew me the most to this program was it wasn't framed as a diet. It was framed very much as teaching you how to eat again, teaching you what actual real portions should be like and ways to eat in real life. So I could never have done this if it was a powder or a shake, or I had to eat all blanched, steamed vegetables and stuff, which I like them now and then, but if I had to eat that for the rest of my life, I would
give up. Yeah. You've traveled quite a bit during our program and your weight has still come down. And, it's great that we use that word diet, like you say, but this is a whole food diet. But the mindset is a huge part of that, because if you've got blocks and obstacles from yo-yoing in the past, or a block that you've had about the word diet, or the way that your friends and family perceive the word diet when you go out and socialize, that becomes a block, and trying to get rid of that and giving you back control of actually how do you navigate what people are saying and feel good.
Yeah. So it basically, the word diet changed kind of from that punishment. You can't eat anything. You can only eat very little. You can only eat tasteless foods and you have to punish yourself for this time. It changed into becoming the way that it's supposed to be, like following the Mediterranean diet, where they eat a lot of the stuff that's, in season and fresh, just because there are so many more small, farmers markets and farmers literally that just open their doors and they're like, come and take the excess.
Yeah. It's not until you look that you find what you're looking for, is it? Because it's so easy to go to the supermarket and see all the pretty colors and just be buying that. And also to eat too much of stuff and not realize how much you're eating that you didn't need. Whereas if you go hunting for healthy food, you'll find it.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, I remember still the first few days when I was measuring, I was like, this cannot possibly be 100 grams. 100 grams has to be more than this. Like my scale is broken. But eating the way that you've taught me to eat, I've never been hungry. Not even the first few days. The first few days, the hardest part, honestly, was just the mental part of, I can't snack when I want. I can't eat the leftover crumbs of my kids' stuff that I was making. That I couldn't have the coffee and the sugar. Those were some bad days with the headaches and that. But I was never hungry, even from the beginning. Like I always felt satiated. I never felt like a hunger. It was more of a psychological, like, oh, usually I snack now.
Yeah. Did you find that quite weird that you were never hungry?
It was really strange. I was telling the concept of knowing that I was only psychologically wanting to eat because I was used to it, but knowing that I wasn't actually hungry it was a new sensation, because usually I just, oh, snack time. Oh yeah, that looks good. And just.
So now when you're hungry, it's authentic. Is that kind of how it feels?
Yeah. And even sometimes, if I'm bad with my water and it tricks it, I know, like, oh no, I know I haven't drunk my liter of water and it's already around 11 o'clock. So I start chugging some water back and then it always goes away.
Yeah.
Always.
Isn't it like, it is free?
Yeah. And it's free. And it doesn't take me feel gross or bloated or headachy, like that tiny little like lick of coffee that I had the other day that just made me go into a migraine immediately. It's yeah.
I mean, you had bad back and you had aches and pains, and they're
They're
improved.
almost all of them are gone. I mean, I thought that I couldn't wear heels anymore because of changes from pregnancy or just whatever. And it turns out it was the inflammation. Now I can rock them again for hours on end, which is great. It saved my shoe wardrobe that was about to be given away.
And your boots, same as me, because you couldn't do your boots up before
I had to
doing
take them
this.
all to the shoemaker and see if he could stretch them. Some were too tight. I could only wear certain things with them. Now I can wear my jeans with them, even some cute little socks pulled all the way up. It's like,
And who knew? You know, I think when you come onto this program, I don't know, what did you, what were your hopes coming onto the program?
I mean, the reason that I contacted you was the fact that it wasn't just a diet, that there was someone who I was meeting with, that I was talking to, that was going to follow me, like someone who was trained a psychologist to help me get through it as well, because I have a lot of back trauma regarding food and stuff. And, you know, as a lot of things came up, you know, tensions with my husband that I used to eat away and things that you helped me with. So it was, I really had hoped that I would be able to at least eat properly. I knew I had kind of lost control of it and I was defaulting to the easiest ones, but just being so stressed in my life and busy with the kids and normal stuff and everything, I just didn't have the energy or the capacity to think outside of what was the most convenient to get things done. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, of course I did hope that I would lose maybe 10 pounds, like a few kilos at least to show something, but never thought it would be like that.
I know. And the thing is, lots of people come into it with expectations of it's just about weight loss. But of course, you don't want to fall off the edge after 8 weeks. So it's not really about the weight. The food you can follow, the mindset, but it's putting them together, isn't it? So that actually you know what you're doing going forward. So that's just like, it's just benefit. And I think it really helps the family as well, because they can kind of see you improving emotionally, physically. And so it's not just another thing that she's doing, because you're changing.
Oh, absolutely. Last night we went to sushi and my daughter reached and stole a piece of my octopus off of my plate. She was like, "Oh, I want to eat it," because she's seen me eat that when we go to the sushi place. I either get just the salmon sashimi or I'll get and she's never wanted to try it before. She stole that from me. My kids regularly steal the vegetables off of my plate.
Yeah. And when mum hoards it, it must be worth something.
Yeah, it
Oh,
must be good if mom has it and she won't give it to me.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So it's great that everybody is benefiting from that. If you were to, I mean, I know you said the first 2 weeks were, you know, hard, challenging. Do you think that you kind of really have to be ready to commit to it to get through that 2 weeks?
yes, but I also think the way that you've structured it, where I have to fill out the journal, and it's a very detailed journal. So I'm writing literally everything that comes in and out, literally
Your
every
food journal.
in and out of the food journals. That helped a lot to get me into the habit because I never had that habit before. And I think if I was left on my own to try and do it, it would have been
Yeah.
much harder than it was.
It's almost an experiment, isn't it? The first 2 weeks is quite an experimental time for you to see what you're putting in versus what you would have done before, because we never write down what we eat, because, you know, beforehand, when everyone's sort of rogue, you daren't write down.
Never. I wouldn't have wanted to see it. I think it would have probably scared me, honestly.
Yeah. You had headaches before.
Oh, I had a lot of headaches before. Yeah. I had
And
a lot of headaches. I had a lot of bouts of like I would get really sick where I would have like I had a rasp in my throat that it wouldn't let me sleep when I lay back. It would wake me up with this like weird cough. And I'd gone to the doctors for months and they kept saying that it was probably just a weird allergy or reflux. But it wasn't letting me sleep aside from my kids and everything. So I had horrible headaches. I would get sick really often. I haven't gotten sick once.
and you're in the car with them all when they were sick.
All of them when they were sick. I've got my kids that had like bronchitis and everything. My husband was hacking up a lung. I think the worst thing one day was that tiny little scratchy throat and a bit of a burny nose, and that was it.
I was always told that I was a headachy type of person, but what does that mean? And, you know, I had migraines, I had headaches all the time, every morning, and I just don't have them anymore. It just goes to show how your hormones change with the food that you eat. And I mean, I'm, you know, you've done so well, hence why we're doing the video, because you stuck with it when you were traveling and you designed lunches that were quick and easy. We spoke about the fact that, you know, your life has been a lot of pasta and rice and all those things because they were quick. And then yesterday you were saying, actually, it's the same speed to make your own healthy food.
Yeah, especially knowing that what the right portion size is, because before, honestly, this might scare you and whoever watches this, if we were a family of 4, I would literally put in a kilo of ground beef into the pan to like cook along with other vegetables and potatoes and all the other stuff. So yeah, it takes a lot longer, but if I'm cooking with the portions that we have, it literally, I can finish it before the water is finished boiling for the pasta.
Yeah. Fab. I mean,
The hardest part is really just is that it's not convenient and getting used to the fact that it's not convenient in planning. I think that was the most challenging part in the beginning because I didn't have that as a priority. And then seeing how it made me feel, it became a priority. And so now it's not hard anymore.
a new habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just, do you find yourself automatically going for that stuff now rather than having to think, I can't have that? What else can I have?
Yeah, now I find before it used to be, you know, the first few times I went to a restaurant on it, I would be like, oh, I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't. Well, that has something I can't. Now it's more, I hunt out the things that I know I can have. You know, they have the thing that I can have. And if they don't, like, I have no shame and ask them just like, listen, I don't eat potatoes. Can you switch this out for me and like add, you know, I saw that this dish has this kind of veggies and that dish has this one. So can you just.
And they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found them really helpful if you ask. They don't mind. And particularly with a smile.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on before we go, because I don't want to keep you for forever and a day. One of your, I mean, you started when you had your daughter's birthday coming up, you had Halloween coming up, you got Christmas coming up. I mean, we can all have reasons to not start. Now you're starting 2023, 14.5 kilos lighter. And you went through those things. Your fear was, how do you get through them? How did you find navigating birthdays and Halloween, which is full of candy, I believe?
Yeah, so especially the kids' birthday parties, right, where there's literally nothing fresh and it's all just cakes and packaged stuff. It went easier than I thought. You know, I remember I scheduled a call with you before Eliana's birthday, a few days before, to help kind of set me up mentally and help me get that sorted, because I think that was fairly soon in when we started. I think it was only 3 weeks or something like that into the program. So that was really soon. And now I've reached the point where I'm able to bake Christmas cookies with her and not be overly tempted. I had a few moments, like I told you, where, like, for example, the coffee, where the smell was like, oh, you know what, like, I'll just taste it. And it had such a horrible effect on me that I realized that the scent and the memory is better than ingesting it at this point for how it makes me feel. But I would have never thought that I would think like that ever weeks ago. And I remember before we started, after that first call, when you're like, do you want to start right away? My first thought in my head was like, oh, but there's this, and then there's this, and then there's that. And then I was like, no, there's always an excuse. There's always going to be something. There's always just do it. If we do it, you know, tear the Band-Aid off, get it done, see how it goes. And thank God I did, because otherwise right now I would be 14, probably more.
Yeah.
Because I was putting on, because I would have kept eating the way that I was.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a challenge to be had, isn't there? Whatever time of year, but stuff comes up all year round. That's okay. You know.
Yeah. Because in these 8 weeks, you know, I had to go to my in-laws, where their 4 staples were sandwiches, pasta, potatoes, and carrots. So, you know, I went there. I had to go up to Holland, where it's a very starchy diet as well. You know, I traveled, I had different things. We had different health emergencies, things with the kids, but it actually, once you get into it, it was actually really easy. And it was almost soothing, because it was something that I could control. So when life kind of felt out of control, I was like, you know, this is
yours.
Yeah. It could ground me. I was like, you know, when I could come back and cook me, it was like,
yeah, it's like your one constant.
yeah. that I could keep checking back. And I've never, ever thought of food as an indicator, as a tool to like monitor how I'm feeling or how my weight goes, like seeing what I ate, seeing the effect on it, like never. It was always just, oh, my stomach's off. Oh, maybe it was that. Oh, okay, whatever. Oh, it could be, always kind of guesswork, and using it as an actual tool to see, oh, I had a bit of that the other day, but that made me bloated. Oh, that had this effect on me. Like,
Yeah, knowing your body. And also you really didn't want scales at the beginning. You didn't want to look at them.
have one. I didn't have it. I hadn't weighed myself in, it must have been the last doctor's visit that I had not weighed myself.
A lot of people have got a fear of the scales because of how it leaves them feeling. But once you can see them as a tool, they're brilliant for that. You can kind of see what foods have done what as well, with inflammation.
Oh, I packed mine with me on all the trips.
Really?
Yeah, I did, because I didn't think in the hotel that they would have them. And I didn't feel like going to, like ask relatives or whatever. So I always just packed mine in the suitcase.
Well, I didn't know that, so I'll just go like that. But great, everything's going well, and I'm really pleased. You're off to another 2-month trip somewhere. Are you feeling quite strong? It's to Taiwan, so are you feeling quite strong about how you're going to be?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I've already sent off an email to my mom, just telling her more or less, the foods that this is what I'm eating. This is what makes me feel good. And so, when we go out, just, obviously it's been a long time with COVID since I've seen them. So not to order the stuff that I before would have loved, all the really fatty, saucy pork stuff, so I'm prepping my things. I'm prepping my stuff. I'm looking at what's in season over there, and they have a ton of markets there too. So that'll be.
Yeah. And, your whole wardrobe will be different now. Throughout our time together, what you've been wearing has completely changed. So goodness knows what it's going to be like in 2 months' time. Yeah.
Oh, if this keeps going like this, I'm going to be on the next Zoom call in a bikini being like, Ashley, look at me.
I know, right? I can't wait. I can't wait for your before and after pictures so we can share those as well. But thank you very much for coming on and sharing this with the ladies, because I think having a testimonial that is verbal is so much better to answer questions for ladies that are thinking, do I, don't I? Because, there's no better time than whenever they watch this to say, yeah, now's the time. And valuing your own self-worth, because you do have to invest money into it, but it's lifelong.
It is. And honestly, you've had such a huge impact on my life. You have had such a huge impact. I am with, the help of the hormones, but also thinking things through, the way that you frame things. A lot of the times when I had those moments with my husband and stuff, I'm much calmer. I'm able to approach things differently. I have a different viewpoint. The fact that this has allowed me to prioritize me, and that my family now sees that I am a priority. I mean, it's not that they, ever hate or anything, but, it's so easy, especially as moms, to get lost in everyone else and becoming everyone else's servant and stuff and putting yourself last. And this forced them to kind of put me back into a priority, because I made myself a priority and, exploded when I wasn't being a priority in the beginning. And so we've been able to redefine the dynamics and the balance in the family, as well as the approach to eating and food. And I mean, I've been dealing with food for 37 years. No, I started gymnastics in 5. So 32 years that I've had this back and forth thing with food constantly. So, and I've never had this good of a relationship with it. So
yeah, now it's your friend. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. So I'm going to stop recording there, and thank you so much, and have a brilliant Christmas.
Thank you.
And a fantastic time in Taiwan.
Yes. After the first big family meal, that how it goes.
I can't wait to catch up about the 4th week into your visit. You can always catch up at any point afterwards, so you're never alone. Yes. Now that we've got this relationship. So
sure. Thank you so much, Ashley.
So much. Thank you.